The timestamp on Bill Alkofer's camera marks the moment his life as a photojournalist started to end. October 19, 2018. 6:53, 41 p.m. Alkofer was covering a high school football game for the Orange County Register. He needed to lift the camera over his head for a Hail Mary shot of cheering fans. But his body wouldn't obey his brain. For weeks he had been noticing weakness in his right arm. I figured it might be some sort of pinched nerve brought on by 40 years of carrying 40 pounds of camera gear, he said. But then his biceps started twitching. He referred to Dr. Google and learned that fasciculations, or twitching muscles, could be a symptom of neurological disease. For Alkofer, that disease ultimately would be diagnosed as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. It is always fatal, with a 2 to 5 year life expectancy. An award-winning photojournalist, Alkofer, 59, has traveled the world covering sports and news. Now his world revolves around his bucket list, and his desire is to tell his story, and to demonstrate a good attitude, even in the face of a devastating illness. I use my sense of humor for everything in my life, regardless of how tragic it is, Alkofer said. It's all about funny. After reading his Google diagnosis, he looked over his insurance plan and decided to visit neurologist Clyde Holstein. I picked him because Clyde Frazier is my all-time favorite player. I carried around his rookie basketball card when I was a kid, Alkofer said. And Holstein is my all-time favorite dairy cow. After muscular strength tests and an electromyogram, which Alkofer describes as an acupuncture prick and a funny bone sensation without the funny, Dr. Holstein determined ALS was on the table. The Clyde Frazier rookie card was replaced with a Lou Gehrig baseball card, Alkofer said. ALS, a rare neuromuscular disease, is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It ended the New York Yankees' first baseman's career in 1939. An estimated 12,000–15,000 people in the United States have ALS, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. After his first diagnosis, Alkofer, who grew up on the flat, cold, and foreboding plains of North Dakota, drove to the Long Beach apartment he had picked for its exquisite National Geographic light. He cried until the sun-drenched walls went gray. Light is life, Alkofer likes to say. He spent his career anticipating people and the sun, always waiting for that peak story-telling moment when the two become perfectly aligned. But on this day in 2019, at the beginning of a year-long diagnostic process, all he saw ahead was darkness. Alkofer sat at his desk and prayed to his father, Ray Alkofer, who died at 81 in 2011 of another rare neuromuscular disease, multiple system atrophy. He is convinced that his father's death was related to toxins he worked with at Marine Corps Air Station El Toro, and that his ALS is tied to his father's illness.